This episode of the Beaute Industrie podcast was brought to you by the Australian Skin Institute. Hello and welcome to the Beaute Industrie podcast, your online support community for the professional beauty industry. I am your host, founding director of Beaute Industrie, Tamara Reid. Here we are closing the competitive gap and speaking your language. This is a platform created and dedicated to the professional beauty industry, valuing community over competition. We serve to help connect you with inspiration from industry experts, expand your knowledge through educational pieces, and bring you the latest in product and technology innovation. This is Beaute Industrie. Today our guest is Francesca Webster from the Australian Skin Institute in conversation with Lashana Shepherd. As our industry continually shifts and morphs into the future, biotechnology, innovation and cosmeceutical results-based efforts are where we are turning our attention to. Combining the expertise of pharmaceutical and beauty professionals, the Australian Skin Institute is ticking so many of the boxes that appear on a therapist's dream skincare wish list. Founding the range is Francesca Webster, who has an aligned focus on the products being Australian-made and owned, while harnessing the first-hand knowledge of the harsh Australian climate to develop their vegan-friendly products. Learning all about the revolution of skin absorption, nanotechnology and their powerful delivery systems which wrap around active ingredients and deliver them to the deeper levels of the dermis, here's Francesca and Lashana for Beaute Industrie.
So good morning, Francesca. How are you?
I'm very well, Lashana. How are you?
Good. Better now I'm not talking to myself. I had no idea that my Zoom had dropped out. Now, you are the founder of Australia Skin Institute, and we had a little chat, obviously, leading up to the live about the amazing work that you do. But tell me a little bit about Australia Skin Institute for our audience.
Yeah, so the Australian Skin Institute came about around 12 years ago now. I've been in the beauty industry for about 20 years, and the majority of my team here have. So about 12 years ago, we have a clinic brand as well, and we had 21 locations. And at that time, we were retailing skincare from international skincare brands. And at that time, I suppose, as a business, we experienced challenges with those products being sold online at discounted prices. We were also getting lots of feedback from our customers and our team that they really weren't happy with the results from the product. So what we did is we surveyed around 250,000 customers, and we said, and our team members as well, and we said, look, if you could have any skincare, what would it look like? You know, what would it smell like? What would the attributes be like? What would the ingredients be like? And from that feedback, we sat back and we thought, okay, we're going to give it a go to create our own Australian skincare brand. And I think a lot of people who make their own skincare, when they go on that journey, they tend to look at private label options or mass manufacture options. But part of the feedback that we got from our survey is that people, our customers, we're really chasing products that were both Australian, were potent, but also didn't have a lot of preservatives in them. So we set out on a quest to try and make as close to a fresh preservative-free but potent skincare brand. I suppose that's really how ASI came about. And it was initially, we retailed ASI. It was just all about vertical integration into our clinics. And we retailed it along the other international brands. And we kind of thought it was going to be the small player, but it ended up being the large player and the only product on our shelf.
I love that you sought consumer feedback, because it is one of those things that I see so often across the industry of people going, I'm putting out a product and I want it to be this and I want it to be that. And more often than not, you see them kind of have the limelight for a second and then they just kind of fade into the background because it's not what the consumers are after. You can have the best product in the world. If it smells bad, then people aren't generally going to use it. So knowing what your consumer wants, what they need, and ultimately making sure they're getting the results as well, I think is so super duper important.
You're exactly right. I mean, and that could come down to product or service, right?
Yeah.
It should never be about us. You know, brands are only about the customer. And the customer actually owns the brand, and they own it by choosing to come back time and time again. And it's all about their appetite. But yeah, we're a big advocate of surveying our customers and building what they want.
I love that, because they build your business. You don't build your business in reality. I mean, you do all the hard work, but they are the ones obviously keeping you up, keeping you supported, and they're the backbone. So industry's kind of changed in that way a little bit, I think.
It totally has. But yeah, and I suppose coming back to the product again and the attributes of it. So I think, you know, with the international brand that we used to stock, there'd be like 60 or 80 SKUs or units. So, you know, from a small business perspective, you had a ton of cash tied up on the shelves in stock, which is not great for any business. And there also came the complexity there as well of, you know, training your team and educating your team on 60 different or 80 different product items. And then I suppose that pushes down again onto your team educating your customer, and your customer going, which way do I turn? What product do I use for which concern? So with our ASI formulations, they're all 100% unique to our brand. So we literally hand select every ingredient here in our office. As I said, all the formulations are unique. They're not white labeled. We own all the intellectual property. We've got a full-time product developer that works on our research and development process. And we have a really nice little small range as well. So totally easy for us to train our team and for our team to convey that message to customers. So the range is essentially made on very basic principles. So basic principles that any customer can Google and say, hey, what's good for my skin? Is this clinically proven to work for my skin? So really centered around that vitamin A, B, and C. You know, A as in skin cell turnover, and I'm working on that, and the B and C for calming and restorative properties. So it's a nice simple range. We have 14 products in the range, all really simple to understand, all packed fresh here every 6 to 8 weeks. So, you know as a customer that you're picking up a product and it hasn't just, you know, somebody hasn't just made 50,000 of them and put them in a hot warehouse somewhere. You've got a product that's been packed fresh, and in return, it's just going to be better for your skin.
I love packed fresh. It just makes you feel luxury, I guess. Yeah. It makes you feel like you're getting top-notch, fresh, one of a kind, you know, made for you. I love that.
Well, I suppose it all comes back to, even swing back to that survey. It's like, what do our customers, what do we want? What's the very best thing that we can use on our skin for skin health? You know, what would we want to give to our mother or our sister? It's like having the best possible product, and it's not about scrimping or saving or cutting corners whilst it's still being affordable.
I love that. And you guys are committed to continual innovation, and having a look at your products. You also have nanotechnology included in some of your products as well, which is something I hadn't heard of before. So do you want to tell us a little bit about your nanotechnology?
Yeah, sure. So nanotechnology, I suppose, is just another term for transdermal. So if you use any product on your skin, and I'll give you an example actually of this. I don't know if you've ever used like a hyaluronic acid product on your skin. So a hydrating hyaluronic acid product. So hyaluronic acid actually has a really large molecular structure. So you may notice sometimes you buy products like that, you'll pop them on your skin, and then maybe you'll go to apply your makeup over the top, and then the product will start balling. Have you ever felt that on your skin?
Yeah.
So basically what that means is the product hasn't been compounded in a small enough molecular structure to be accepted by the skin. So our products, we use macadamia and avocado extract. We compound the products with a really small molecular structure. They're oil-based, they're also Australian ingredients. And what that allows our products to do when they're put on the skin is to be transdermal, to be transported to the lower layers of the dermis where the product can actually work effectively on your skin. So when anybody ever tries our products for the first time, they're not going to get an instant result. You know, you might get that instant, oh, I've just put that moisturizer on, my skin feels a bit better. But the true test of time will be 4 weeks later, when your skin will start to look better, you know, because those newer skin cells are actually coming through. But yeah, obviously I love it. It's a great product, and our customers love it.
After the break, Francesca and Lashana speak to the importance of training and quality assurance. But first, a word from today's Beaute partner. The Skin and Beauty Training Centre is run by industry professionals and is tailored to suit the needs of business owners and therapists, plus they offer 24/7 and lifetime access to your course. Heading into the new year, it is now more important than ever that we equip ourselves as leaders in the business, as well as help to empower those who perform treatments so that they can provide an exceptional service. The Skin and Beauty Training Centre is an integral part of Skin and Beauty HQ, home of the Australian Skin Institute, Brazilian Beauty and Medilite Australia. The Skin and Beauty Training Centre is offering all Beaute podcast listeners 20% off any course, which is very special and the perfect way to finish one year and start the next. So just simply visit www.skinandbeautytrainingcentre.com.au or swipe up to click through to the show notes in this episode to take the next step in your career journey and type Beaute20, that's BEAUTE20 at the checkout to redeem that 20% off. Thank you so much to the Australian Skin Institute for making today's episode of the Beaute Industrie podcast possible. And now, back to Francesca and Lashana.
You're singing a tune I sing all the time when performing advanced modalities, because a lot of people forget that we're working bottom up. You know, when we're looking at skin needling, when we're looking at photorejuvenation, things like that, you do get a certain amount of instant payoff. But you're right, you're building from underneath, which is going to give you more longevity. It's going to provide you a better result, you know, on the whole. But there is that misconception, I think, from, you know, when you go into Myer and try on your Chanel cream of instant hydration and moisture, that stuff needs to kind of be put to one side, and that misconception, because really the results that you want to see come from within and come from underneath on the cells and everything that are, you know, your collagen elastin, your fibroblasts, you know, everything that's going to structure your skin.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And and you're exactly right. I suppose having product in combination with other treatments, there's never going to be one product or one treatment that is just going to change your life or revolutionize it. It does come down to skin health and that science behind it, and using, I suppose, the right product for the right customer to gain the right results. But as I said, most of our products can be used on any skin type whatsoever. And it is coming back to just basic, good skin health at an affordable price.
Amazing. And I love that you've kept it affordable. And part of that as well is that you're also Australian made and owned, which is incredible because, again, sometimes you will see certain products that will go offshore to cut costs. Things will be designed here, but then sent away and then they come back. But you guys are completely Australian made and owned, and you do love using Aussie ingredients. What attracts you to including as much Aussie stuff and ingredients and packaging and everything as possible?
Yeah, well, look, we are proudly Australian. We live in a great country, and why wouldn't we use local products wherever possible? Look, I think for us, having control over the product, over its design, manufacture, and knowing that when we deliver that product to the customer, it is perfect, and we're absolutely delivering what we promise.
I love that. It's so simple. So, I mean, you don't even have to say more than that, you know. We do live in a country where our climate has things that are so unique and so wonderful. So why wouldn't you look in your own backyard?
Yeah, that's right. And even with our product development and formulation design, it's like we develop products for Australian skin types, you know, not for people who are living in England. We develop it for the climatic environment here with the resources that we have here.
And we do have a varying and harsh climate. I know for you today, it's nice and sunny and lovely. And then for me, it's 11 degrees and raining. So our climate's a bit all over the place. So if you can use something that's made for our skin and our climate, why wouldn't you? No brainer. Now, you also have something that we were talking about before we went live today, which is your Skin and Beauty Training Centre, which, as I said to you before, I looked at the offerings and was like, oh my God, so amazing. Why wouldn't you want to learn off industry experts? And I imagine this is also quite advantageous to your ASI stockists as well, because again, you've got a team that can guide you through the skincare. So how does that all link into one another?
Yeah, well, I suppose as I alluded to before, we've been in the industry for a long time, 20 years. We've built successful salons, clinics. And I think for us as a brand, it's like, why wouldn't we share our knowledge with the wider industry? And at the same time as well, sure, we're commercializing our own intellectual property, but we do a lot of research into every product or treatment that we deliver. And, you know, whether that's treatment planning and contraindications and testing, and again, the whole research and development piece, it's like, well, why wouldn't we share that with other people who want access to that education at an affordable price? And I think, you know, there's different places that you can go, or you can do online courses. But why wouldn't you want to learn from people who do it commercially, do it safely and effectively and well? So I think it just seemed like a very natural progression for us as a business, because we do have our clinic arm, our training arm, our equipment arm, and our product arm. So I see us as being like a little beauty ecosystem where you know, beauty entrepreneurs or small business owners can dip in and get that information and resource when they need it. But of course, it's great that we can support our stockists. And we've seen during COVID a definite rise in home clinics and home operators. And, you know, part of that was because some business owners just purely couldn't afford to pay their rent anymore. And we've seen the rise of like some really awesome, I think, beauty entrepreneurs and side hustlers, and as I said, home clinics that are just absolutely killing it.
Yeah,
and we're there to support them. It's like, hey, if you need our help, like, we can step in and help anytime.
Absolutely. And home businesses need that ecosystem, because if we put it in perspective, they don't have that staff member they can go, hey, second opinion, can you help me with this? They don't have someone to bounce off. So having someone like ASI that they can turn to with an ecosystem, with a team that's got years of expertise, it's so advantageous for them to feel confident in their, entrepreneurial businesses, in their home businesses. It does give them that boost of confidence to go, I'm well trained, I've got a support system. If, who I'm on the phone to doesn't know the answer, someone else will know the answer. So I love that you've got that there ready for them.
Yeah, and I think it's not just restricted to training either. So, we're in November at the moment, and I would think now that most businesses or small businesses would be planning for 2022. So it's like, well, what are we going to do? Are we going to survey our customers now and ask them what they would like to see? And we know that customers, they like consistency and stability, but they also love, what's new, what's trending, and how, and I suppose as operators, we want to be seen as offering the latest and greatest solutions to our customers. So yeah, I suppose helping people planning their business growth for 2022, and especially coming out of COVID, it's like, okay, what are we going to do? How are we going to do it? How are we going to be trained on it? How can we deliver the best possible customer experience?
Yeah, fantastic. And 2022 is going to be a weird year. I think it's going to be a gangbusters year for everyone. I think everyone's ready to come out guns blazing. But you're right. We're now in a scenario where we're like, let's forward plan. We've had for Melbournians and Sydney, Sydneyites? I don't know what to call Sydney people. For those in Sydney, it's a lot of forward planning because obviously they've missed out on a big chunk of time. So having, again, that support to go, what can we do to plan ahead? How can we make 2022 our year? Just fantastic.
Yeah, so as I said, we're here, I suppose, to help and guide anybody who really wants our help, and especially coming out of COVID, as I said, which has been super challenging. And so, look, and the trending that we're seeing in our clinics is definitely on the rise. So I think 2022 is going to be an awesome year for everyone.
For sure. Now, on that, obviously, some budgets can be quite tight after COVID. What are opening orders with ASI like? Do you offer flexible opening orders? Do you have set programs that people can look at purchasing through you guys?
Yeah, look, we're very flexible with our approach, and we're happy to grow with small beauty entrepreneurs, happy to help. So stockists and partners can select what they want, or they can choose from a range of opening orders. None of our opening orders are, I think that the highest one is about $2,000. So nothing is too out of control. From our perspective, what we want to see is we don't want partners to have stock on the shelf that they can't retail. We want to see product turning over and moving. Because we want to know that the customers are happy and the customer appetite is there. But yes, so we offer a range of opening orders. We offer a range of training as well to come with those opening orders. We've actually, we've got a little special offer that we wanted to put out to any of the listeners today as well. Dermal stamp has been like one of our major trending treatments for this year in our clinics. So we were going to say, if anybody reaches out before the end of the year, because there's no rush, it doesn't need to be tomorrow, but if you're doing your planning for 2022 now and you want to reach out and partner with us, then we can give you a dermal stamp opening order special. It's normally $822. And I mean, for anybody out there who currently does dermal pen, it's a really nice step up for customers, or can be used in conjunction with. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there for the listeners.
That's so lovely. Thank you. Now, guys, if you do have any questions for Francesca before we finish up as well, please pop them in the comments, whether you are watching it live with us now or whether you are watching the rewatch, pop them down there. We'll make sure all of any questions or queries get to Francesca and the ASI team. And such a lovely offer.
Yeah, no, well, it's great. And look, I suppose from an industry perspective, I personally want to see our industry be the best that it can be, and that people have help and support in that from good providers.
Oh, I love that. And you're a dime a dozen, I've got to tell you. I love anytime I hear the word support and training, it just gets me so elated and so excited, because it's not that it's rare, it's just that it doesn't often come with that support. You know, you get the product, you get the training, see you later, off you go. Whereas having that support and that scaffolding behind you is just, it's what people need after COVID, I think.
Yeah, and look, business is about a win-win situation, right? You know, everybody's going to work together, collaborate, do well, and yeah, I think it just strengthens our industry in general and really propels us all into the future.
For sure, we're all in this together. But like anyone that's forgetting that, we're still a community. We're still here for one another. Now, the burning question and my final question for business owners, because I know, again, with budgets being tight for people coming back from COVID that are maybe looking to bring in a new product range, because there are so many in the community now that are hitting us up going, I want a range that's Australian made and owned, and I want a new product range. And you know, lots of people looking to expand and build upon what they've got in their clinics now. What is ASI's return on investment? You know, do we get a lot? Do we get a lot back? What's the kind of markup? How does ASI compare to what's on the market?
So our markup is between 100 and in some cases over 500%.
Wow. When I hear like 100 or 200, I'm like, yes, but 500, oh my God.
Yeah. So I think like I said before, I think business is about a win-win, and it's about partnering both ways because it's advantageous and it works. And, you know, at the end of the day, personally, I would just like to see every person in Australia have access to having the best skin that they possibly can have.
Oh, I love that. What a good message, and so on board with that message. Share the love when you can.
Why not?
Yeah. Well, guys, if you have not checked ASI or the Skin and Beauty Training Centre out, please do. Their websites are very easy to find. We've also featured them in the November magazine, so please check them out there. Follow the links, check them out. And again, if you do want to take Francesca up on their amazing offer, please reach out to them before the end of the year. But it has been such a pleasure this morning.
It's been lovely. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for being so incredible and sharing the love. It's so very appreciated at this time of year.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, guys.
Well, isn't Francesca an absolute powerhouse? Between salons, schools, and a skincare range, there is pretty much nothing she can't do. And don't we just love a female leadership moment on the podcast? Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in, and to your ears and your energy for listening. If you loved this episode, we would like you to help us spread the word. So please share how you're listening over on the gram and tag us at Beaute Industrie. Until next time, stay connected.